So stance. The way you stand to the ball is really going to encourage you to hit a good or bad shot at the end of the day. You're going to try and set up with a good stance, you're going to try and set up balance, give you a lot of control over the way you're moving. You're going to set up good positive angles in your body to encourage a stronger coil, a better turn, and certainly you're going to set your feet up in a way that's going to encourage you to follow through. So what I want to see you do at the start, take your width for stance. You want to stand, gap between your two toes be the same width as your shoulders. Then I'd like to see the right foot turned out at a 5-degree angle. Left foot turned out at a 25 to 30-degree angle. So the left foot is considerably more turned out than the right foot. Now what this is going to do is going to give you a bit of a coil on the way back, a bit of resistance in your right foot. Left foot turned out at this angle is going to encourage you to make a nice follow through, a good turn, without putting any unwanted pressure on your left knee. So we're going shoulder whip stance, right foot turned out at a 5-degree angle, so almost straight on, left foot turned out at around a 30-degree angle. Next thing I'd like to see you do, if we're using a 6 or 7 iron, so a medium iron, I'd like you to try and get the back of the ball, the part of the ball you're going to hit, hitting the middle of your 2 feet. That'll make the mass of the ball slightly closer to your left foot. But the part you're going to hit, the back, try and get that lined up with the middle of your 2 feet with a medium iron. Then what I'd like to see you do is try and get a good positive tilt in your spine. So your spine angle should always tilt slightly away from the target. Now the reason this is because you've got one hand on the club lower than the other. So that's always, unless you've got one arm longer than the other, it's always going to give you a slight tilt. And it's this tilt that you're going to turn around and create your good core, give you strength, give you direction. So once you've got your shoulder whip stance, feet set in the right position, back of the ball, part of the ball you're going to hit in the middle of your 2 feet. Best way to get this tilt with your hands on the club is to make sure that your right hip is over your instep. So this will feel like you're just setting your right hip forward, so your hips just slide forwards towards the target a fraction, which will then give you this tilt in your upper body. Now it's this tilt that you're going to turn around, like I say, to create a coil. If you've not got this tilt at the start, you're going to find that you've either got one arm longer than the other, and if you haven't, which most of us haven't, you're going to find that your shoulders are what we call open, so pointing to the left. Your shoulders are too level, often that encourages more of a chopping action, again a shot off to the right. So you're looking for this tilting your shoulders in your spine slightly to the right. To do that, get your right hip over the instep. So right knee, right hip should be right over the instep of your right foot. Now your weight, you're looking for your weight 50-50 on both feet, so you want your weight even at the start. You also want your weight further towards your toes as well, so more on the balls of your feet, none of this sitting back on your heels business. Now the last thing as well, just to encourage you to make this good call, this good turn on the backswing, once you're set up, hips forward, right hip over the instep, real key to this setup. I want you to make sure you look at the ball out of your left eye. So my nose points off towards my right foot. What this is going to do is, again, it's going to help you turn. I see lots of players try and look at the ball with both eyes or even out of their right eye, and it really restricts your shoulder turn, the amount you can turn. What happens is you have to start moving your head during the swing, which is always going to create a bad shot.